All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and I will go through order flow on whatever market says webinar. You guys request, Bookmap connects to stocks, futures, and cryptocurrencies, and many, many different instruments, of course. So let's go through the disclosures, and we'll jump in. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's just, there's a request already to take a look at the bonds or the 5-year. Stan, do you prefer the 5-year over? I mean, like I would prefer to go maybe look at the 10-year ZN, but it's up to you. We can look at the 5-year as well. ZN is good. Okay. All right. This is funny. I do not have any backfill data here, or why? Should be able to have some. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't find the instrument. All right, hold on a minute. That's it. Z and Z3. Okay. Okay, I did something wrong here. Hold on a minute. Oh, Calmex. Is that why? Okay, CME. That should do it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the CBOT. Jesus, what am I doing? That's what. Okay. There we go. Let's look at two hours here. Okay. My bad. Haven't looked at them in a while. Yeah, CBOT. Oops. So, all right. Boy, I think we should put some more backfill data in here. All right, and we'll let that load here. All right, and we'll just take a look at there are a few things that we'll wait here for just a minute, Stan. But the ES here, just wanted to go through the stock indexes or the S&P, and some kind of odd behavior in my opinion. This move to the upside. It is what it is. Good morning, slowdown. And we have the we had really good jobs report on Friday with non-farm. Great data. Market originally sold off, and that made good sense to me with the interest rate rise. More probable in the near future, and the markets don't like that. But we had a move to the upside, and it just grinded higher, and we're still grinding higher. So we do have FOMC meeting minutes later this week. We have CPI data, etc. So the market is just kind of maybe sloshing around in here waiting for this. We have war environment in a few different places on the globe, and yet we're moving higher here. Oil is spiking due to the war efforts, or the geopolitical concerns. Yet here we are. So anyway, that's where it doesn't really matter. We are just going to follow the order flow and get insight via the order flow. And that's what we want. This will give us an edge, and take it from there. Okay, so what do we see? Well, we're coming down and just see this cluster of volume in here, which is a lot of buying, and obviously it coordinates here and correlates with the open, the cash open here at 9:30. We see that there's more liquidity here on the bid here in these levels, and we're selling off into them. So I'm seeing that the sellers come in here looking to probably test down in here to this 43.20 due to the heavy selling coming in right now. All right, so we have talked about trapped volume many times over, especially this last week. And this might be something to look at here in the bigger picture. Now, we probably won't get that move immediately in here. We're going to bigger picture moves. They take longer time to kind of unravel. That's why we're going over many smaller time frames in here and try to train ourselves on order flow on much smaller time frames, because the more we get experience with it, more we're going to understand it, that then can extrapolate to the bigger picture. All right, so anyway, what my point here is, here we see the move up higher above this big cluster right here, and we're kind of bouncing off of that little area, which is a point of control. It just means the most traded level here, and you can see a bit of bouncing here just at the moment. Now, what I'm talking about, though, in terms of trapped volume, is we have two different areas here. So we're looking to see if we can get a retest back down here and maybe follow through to the downside. Okay, so we'd be looking for maybe something more like, hold on. More like this and then this. Okay, so it's just a scenario that we're looking for, because we're identifying this potential trap in here of all of this buying in here, and all of this buying in here is going to be compelled sellers down here in these areas below. So that's the concept here. Now that's just a scenario, so it actually should be scenario number 2. Scenario number 1 is we're looking to see more buying continue here, and we're bullish here so far for the day. We can see the move at 9 o'clock, move up, 9:30. We have this back and forth, but the move is up, and we're just testing off of this point of control here, or just this really high volume node here, and we're seeing buyers starting to step back in. Okay, so anyway, this is the overall scenario for that then would be that we're looking for a retest back up into maybe this 3250 area up here, or maybe even the highs if we're still bullish. All right, so before we get all into this, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, though, and then we'll come back and revisit this. The bigger picture here on the delete the drawings. Hide. Okay. The bigger picture here, we have the daily over here on the right side. I'm sorry, left side, then the hourly in the middle, and then the 15-minute here on the right. Looking at the daily, it's pretty messy. Some real, back and forth in here as this market had moved down pretty sharply over the last few weeks here. And we're still in a bearish mood here. I mean, you can see on the daily chart, we're making lower lows and lower highs in here. And we have a lot of kind of chop back in this little area here. So, we do see the move up from Friday, and the close was just below the this little swing here. It peaked up above it and came back down and closed below it. So we're still in this range here, as you can see, and we see the buyers in here testing the previous close here from Friday. We have the gap fill here, right? So that's what we're kind of looking at the moment. And on the hourly here, you can see the gap very clearly right in here, and even better here on the 15-minute chart. So this is where we opened. and we've come up and filled a lot of this gap. We have not filled all of it. The true fill would be up here around 45. But this is very typical that we kind of see. We don't have. We know there's a gap, but the idea here is that sellers have tested below the swing here from Friday's activity, and then we see that it's moved back up into this kind of range up in here, and to fill the gap. All right, so now we do see the sellers starting to come in here, but you know, we still have momentum here to the upside basically until we see something different, right? So that's why we go through in here in Bookmap in the order flow to understand and give us a lot deeper insight and an edge via the participants in the auction. Okay, so what we have is high liquidity gotten filled in these areas in here. We've come up higher into this kind of 35, 37 area. Some of it transacted up in here, and we just see a lot of sellers come in just at this point here and bring it right back down here. Now we're still bullish though. Okay, so the move is still holding, or the structure, market structure is still holding. So let me just go over the market structure here. Okay, so if we take off the heat map, we take off the volume dots here. Okay, this is just best bid and offers, streaming price action. Okay, you can see we're still making you know, higher highs here, and yeah, okay, on a smaller time frame, sellers took control here and moved it below the swings here. But in the bigger picture, we're still bullish here, right? Just by market structure. That's why we went through the two scenarios in here. One being that we're going to see the potential trap volume. Okay, we can turn the volume on at this point. Okay, the green dots, and then where they'd be compelled to cover. That would be one. And the other one is that let me delete these drawings. Hold on. And the other one would be that we are just bouncing off of these areas. Probably move it to here now. And we're going to continue on up, you know, and retest some of the highs up in here. Okay, this would be a good area to test in here. A lot of volume within this area in here. You can see it in the profile as well. Okay, so we can look for that if we get enough buyers in here. Okay, and then the liquidity heat map is the other side of the trade that gives us that understanding of where the supply and demand is. Okay, so we're seeing our buyers come in, retesting back up here. Okay, and if they can, let's see if they have enough buying power to reach back up into about 34 here. Now, let's talk about potential setups in here as well. And again, these are not trade recommendations. Now, how likely is this based on the order flow for that scenario to unfold? Right now, it doesn't look so great. I mean, we do have some buying up here, but look at the exhaustion or selling up here. And what I mean by exhaustion, look at the, if we just move down here, look at the selling up here, a selling dot by the delta, and then we see some buying in here, just not enough to take this higher. Okay, we do nice strong volume in this little move in here. That's good. Well, we get a pullback to retest it, and then we see another like kind of barrage of buying in here and buying in here. So that's not bad, but I just don't see the interest up here yet. Okay, we don't have it yet, nor do we have another element that we need in the order flow, and that would be the order book. Okay, so the order book, it would be the liquidity heat map here, bidding up at a higher level. Okay, now here comes our test back up here, and we'll see if we get a skew in the order book here to maybe try to push it up past the swing here around 31 and try to reach back up here to around 34 or so, something like that. All right, now what do we have in here that really gives us like a good feeling in the order book that will play out, that scenario? Not too much. I mean, you can see how dark it is underneath here. So what this means is that players they're starting to bid up here a little bit, okay? And we're getting buyers, and they're pulling here. Okay, so now we're testing 31. And now it's getting a little bit more interesting here. However, this is just not worth the risk, in my opinion. It's looking better now, but here's why. Is that you know, this dark area in here, they are bidding up at 30.5 at the moment, and we found some buyers, but this is not really the strong move that we're looking for. How dark it was in here wasn't giving us that feeling that we're going higher. Okay, so we are going higher, but we can see sellers can easily drop it back down into like 28 or 26, 27 very, very easily. Right, so we just don't have all the pieces here, so we'll stay away. Right, now here come the sellers, and let's see if they have the range or the breadth to reach back down into these areas, or the exhaustion by the buyers. Here's something to take a look at on the smaller time frames that can give some insight here. The volume dots and bars can give this additional insight. Okay, so look at the cluster in here. This is pretty good. Okay, there's some buying up here, and that's a good sign. If there were not buyers here, then that would be telling us something a lot more, and we see the selling coming in. Okay, so we're looking for these swings up in here to get insight from the participants. What's happening up here? Okay, and they're still buying. But look, see how dark it is in here? Watch how there's our exhaustion here. Now watch, we should get some sellers in here, and they can easily drive it down here to 30. Again, trying to understand the retest back up here and a lack of buying. Okay, look at down here. Here's our cluster, and then this one, we come down here. Look at the buying down here. A lot less, right? So that's our divergence in volume here. Okay, so you can, and we have a dark order book underneath here. Okay, I'm just suggesting to take a look at these elements because it's in here that the market tells us about this potential scenario. Now, when we get a better, higher probable look at this here by understanding the order flow here, then we look for, you know, going on the side of that strength. Okay? Does that make sense? Does everyone understand this point here? Strong volume, a little bit of selling down here, very little buying up here, or none. Let's see, probably some. No, none up here, right? So and there was previously here just six contracts up here, and then it exhausted out. Okay, so we were looking for that scenario for sellers to drive it probably back down to about this I don't know, 20, 29, 30, I think, or maybe did we say 28? And that's exactly what they've done. Now, there wasn't anyone here in the order book to support that, this move higher. So that's why we can see this, the sellers were able to drive it into these areas pretty easily. Okay, so anyway, that's how we can look for behavior in here to give us insight for the potential move. Please let me know if you have any questions on this. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that we're going to cover more and more in here, looking for very specific setups in order flow. Okay, some are better than others, and by understanding and going through many examples in here, we will be able to basically grade these and look for something that is more probable to unfold. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Stephen. let's see, slowdown. You know, I really love your work. I love your imagery. I think people, it's so crystal clear. Uh, and I've been thinking about it for a while. Uh, and let me, if people aren't familiar with Slowdown's work, I want to show you here. You can come over to our Discord chat room here in the All Markets room here, All Markets Bruce. Here's an example of his work. Okay, he's looking at these springs from Wyckoff. Now, what I want to cover in here is this. If I pop this out, what we just talked about in here is kind of similar, except this is a big range in here. And Wyckoff explains it as, you know, accumulation or distribution. It is a move down below the bottom of the range here. So, you know, sellers were able to move it down there. Now, a lot of the things that Slowdown is looking for here is a stop run. And then buyers come back in and move it back into the range. And they have the you look for momentum in here by that buy side to not only go to the high volume node, which is probably somewhere around in here, but through it to the other side of the range. And you can see that's where he's taking some profit, but just some, because then he's looking for higher profit to take up here. Okay, so it's understanding the order flow in here. Now, in this, like one of the things that Slowdown is looking for, and Slowdown, I'm just going to have you on for a webinar, and you'll have to explain it in your own words. I don't want to be a proxy for you here. But the order flow in here, one of the things that he's very typically looking for, you can see he marks it up here, the stop picks at the outside edge of the consolidation. Okay, now he's looking for that buying to come in here and then entering with that strength to trade it back into the middle, other side of the range, and continuation. Okay, because you can see here he's looking at a continuation move here. So this would be basically accumulation in the consolidation, and then continuation to the upside here. Accumulation and then continuation. Right, so very much in line with Wyckoff's principles. And here, what I'm trying to get at is here it is in the order flow. And he's looking for the stop run here, stop pick. Well, there's many things to look for there in that area. What you can look for, and I've been thinking about this slowdown, which is really interesting stuff. Behind the curtain, it's all jellyfish. You can even see, like, potentially here, there's no stop run here, but here's a little consolidation, and it traded down into here. Now you can look for also absorption down here, and also exhaustion. Okay, so in the different scenarios in here, it doesn't necessarily stop run can be a good one. You don't get it here. You can look at the red line down here, and you don't see that people are getting stopped out. So we know that with the MBO bundle that we have, and the stops and iceberg indicators that we have, that this is not a stop run. Okay, these are not stop orders that are transacting. Stop orders are actually transacting up in here. Okay, so this volume up in here is a stop run. All right, so but we can get exhaustion down here. This is a good example of exhaustion right here, the leg previously. Look at the selling on here. Okay, very little, right? Selling's in here, and then at this little peak or trough here, it really dries up. See the selling here, and then very little down here. Okay, so that's where there's no more sellers. It's reached its auction there. Okay, and there's no more sellers. So if there's no more sellers in here, you can look for buyers to come in and trade it back into the range, because there's no more selling activity, okay, or very little. and retest some of these areas. Like here's a good retest. Now this is a small time frame. It's only 3 ticks or 4 ticks. It doesn't matter. This works on all time frames. And you can see it traded to the other side of the range here. It tested this, which is kind of like a pseudo high volume node in here. It's kind of a high. No, it's actually, this is the high volume. Well, if we take that out, we can make this the high volume node. Yeah, this volume in here, not here. And then it exhausts down here, and buyers came back in and traded to the other side of the range. Right, so here's an even better example of some exhaustion retesting here, and no transactions here, and a little bit here. So anyway, look for this in the setup. Is the lack of trading down here, and then buyers to come in and move it to into the center of the range, other side of the range, and then maybe continuation. All right, another one is absorption. Right, so absorption is very easily seen in Bookmap, and let me find another example in here. Try to find one that fits this kind of consolidation and accumulation. Absorption just means that, well, here, the absorption. Okay, very high liquidity, and then see the selling hit into this liquidity here. It's not much selling, but they're not able to trade through this 23 area. There's way more limit buy orders than there are aggressive market sell orders, and they don't trade through it. Okay, same idea here. Now, if this is really good, if there's support here or demand here, and you can even see there's some a few ticks below it here, and they want to buy at these levels, and you don't find enough sellers, we'll look for the buyers to come in on the other side, and then trade it back up into the middle of the range, other side of the range, and then maybe continuation. All right, so I would just like to add those kind of elements into these consolidation ranges and understand that order flow. Like look at the buying up here. Right, this is exhaustion. A strong move in here. Some other buyers up in here. We have a hidden order in here, our iceberg order. Okay, right here, this is an iceberg order. So buyers traded into this hidden liquidity here, and it transacted. Okay, so in fact, we have the on charts iceberg, which I can show you. And here we go. So there was 50 right up here. Totally executed. That's what the E stands for. So this larger player came in with an iceberg order and absorbed that. Well, they didn't totally absorb it, but they transacted. 50 traded. And then we have exhaustion up here. And then sellers come back in, move it back down to the bottom of the range in here. Right? So these are considerations to look for at the extremes of your ranges. That and that they're all jellyfish. All right. So let me know if there's any questions here. Happy to get to them. Algorithm band. Yeah, sure. And then we got to take a look at Stan's request. Sorry, Stan. I'll get to it. We'll look at those bonds or notes. Actually, let's add the 5-year in too. I'm kind of curious now. And we can add the bonds as well, but and I might as well add Crude. keep coming up. Okay. So we'll go over this more and more, the trading statistics add-on in here. What contract are we on in Crude? It's been a while here, so we on the X contract still? Yeah, we are. Okay. Double check here. Guys, there's a video on this on how to kind of very quickly research. Just look up a Google search here for, you can see it here, CME CL volume. That's it. Goes to the CME group contract specs here, and then down here you want to click on volume and open interest, and then here we take a look at the months here. It tells you up here, it's the X contract here, but I always want to double check the volume in here. You can see like it's getting ready for rollover here pretty soon. Okay, so we have the December contract here. It's 275 the Globex session versus 455 for the November. So probably pretty soon here, next week maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the X contract in here. Let me show you where that video is too. Okay, if we go to bookmap.com, go to the More button, and then go to the Bookmap Learning Center here. Then go to Getting Started here and Adding Symbols here. Okay, so if you're new to Bookmap and you want to learn how to use all the different features, then this is where to go. Okay, Learning Center, Getting Started course, and then in here we can go through the adding symbols, and then sorry, maybe it's under. Oh, I know I did it. Yeah, it should be here. This video. Anyway, I won't take any more of your time. I forget which video it actually is. It's one of these videos in here. I'll find it and get back to you on that. All right. All right, so back to let's take a little bit of a breather here and take a look at what's happening in this S&P, and then we'll look at the notes. Yeah, so it's just really chopping around. We haven't really missed anything in here, but it was good that we covered those elements in here of what to look for at these edges in here for a higher probability outcome. Now, it's important not only to do that, but to develop your scenarios here, okay, and why we think it's going to happen. Okay, so if it goes up, what are we looking for if it goes up here? Well, then this would be trapped volume here. We're looking for our buyers at the top of this range in here. We're looking for that order book skew, and then we're looking for these buyers to lift it pretty quickly, and then we'd be looking for a stop run. Okay, the that's the secondary scenario. Actually, the primary scenario is still a move back down into 25 here, and maybe lower, 23. Okay, why? Because look at the sell volume here. Look at the buyers here. Not as many. And it didn't even make an equal high in here. It's making lower highs in here and lower lows in here. So we're trending basically. So we're still looking for it to trend until we see something else. Okay. So the target here would be this liquidity. okay, for these sellers to reach that liquidity here, right? And then we want to see if how does it behave down here when it is it absorbed? Is it pulled? Are they adding lower? Are they adding in front of it? Do they want to be buyers? Do they add up now underneath here? These answers to these questions is what can give us the insight. Okay, so there's our move into 25, and still looking for lower here. Anyway, let's jump over and take a look at the notes to begin with. Okay, so yeah, they're going higher. Nice volume here. Yeah, I'm sure that would have been a stop run. That looks like it. And then we have the buying it's okay. It's not as high as it was over here. It's not bad. Yeah, looks like wants to trade into this liquidity here. We're seeing a little bit of buying right now. We see underneath the order book here, it's not bad either. Like you see this kind of bluish tint here. Well, we can see there's 1,400, almost 1,500 contracts there. Now there's more down here. There's 1,800. Yeah, but that's not bad. So there is demand underneath here, and we're still finding buyers. So I'm still looking for this to trade up into this liquidity. And then let's see if we can break the swing high here, and then even trade up into this, this 0724 up here, something like that. Okay, let's look at our 5-year. Now this is a great usage of, well, we can look at market pulse to correlate these markets here. You can look at, I mean, the moves should unfold first in the 5-year, then the 10, then the bonds, right? Yeah, we can look at the market pulse tool in here to give us additional insight on that. And now the bonds, like, they really, yeah, they're moving pretty well actually. Boy, this can be, it's a harder market in the sense that it doesn't move that much compared to like the S&P or especially NASDAQ or gold or crude oil, right? But the order flow in here can be really good. Not seeing much at the moment. Let's try to get a little more insight here. 5-year, nothing. That algorithmic band, Tom. This is kind of it here. We can probably see it better in the NASDAQ. Yeah. So this is it here. It's a very simple thing. There's algos on the other side here of each market. And they're following the market here. Now, actually, if you want to see like how this actually operates in here, I can show this to you. We have actually tools in Bookmap. Okay, you will need to have Bookmap Global Plus for this, but we can use Chase and Escape in here. We have algos within Bookmap that can do this for you and mimic this behavior in here, okay, of these players. So we'll use Chase in here and Escape, and we can use them both together at the same time. Enable them. It works on these, and there's execute as well. They work only on limit orders. Okay, and let's see here, 60. Let's do 3 price levels. And let's really make it escape here. Let's put in like 300%. Okay. Okay, that should do the trick. Let's turn on the trading, and we'll just use one contract here, and we're going to set our limit. We're going to right click above here, okay, and then we're going to left click down below here, okay, and yeah, you can see that it's just staying on the side of the market here by 3 ticks. Now this is what we need to come back up here and adjust. Is escape by a lot more. And also chase by a lot more. Go. Oh, I got filled. Okay, hold on. Let's flatten that. And let's try it again. Okay, so let's go with 20. This is the NASDAQ. Okay, oh, okay, I see. Let's just block all and end. Aye. Okay, so this is kind of new to me here. Okay, all right, so this is the issue. Yeah, hold on. I was wondering if that was going to pop up. Okay. All right, and let's flatten. Sorry, guys. It's just bear with me on this. Like, it's worth it. Believe me. This is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. To see this kind of behavior in here. Okay, strategy chase attempts to move order ID 9. Wow. Okay. Hey. All right. So even this is still too close to the market. Let's flatten this and let's try it again. It's worth it, believe me. Like this is really fantastic to see. This is what these algos are doing. Okay, so see the behavior in here. If we can mimic, we have to go to another probably 10 ticks here. So it's like 40. Let's flatten this and we'll try again. Maybe it's even 50. Let's put in 50. All right, there we go. So 50 ticks is spot on. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is and basically, so you know, these algos at a certain point, if they're holding a position in the queue, all right, so at a certain point, then they are going to shut off, and this action will not take place any longer, and they will get filled, or at least they'll stay in the market, and then we look for them to you know, transact. Right, and then this is what's happening. And so when you see this kind of behavior, I mean, it usually happens on maybe thinner markets, but not always. We've seen it in the S&P as well for several weeks. I know it can be distracting, but this is the market. This is what it is doing. and this is how these players are reacting to it. Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's that. Yeah, we can really mimic that behavior in here with chase and escape. All right, I'm sorry guys, let me get back to any more questions that you have here. Yeah, CMJ, maybe we'll do something more on chase and escape, and execute, if you like. Yeah, it wasn't quite mimicking the way it does when it was very close to the market, but we can simulate that. Yeah, I mean, basically you'll see like at a certain point in here, like, here, I mean, this liquidity obviously is a different player, okay, that came in here and stayed in the order book. We don't see algorithmic activity, and they transacted here. All right, so the transaction took place and the buyers broke out from that area. Okay, see how they kind of stayed in here? See that? And they're transacting in here. Also in here a little bit. So, I mean, that's what's happening. And this is who we're competing against. There's these algos in here that I've seen it, that, they'll pull one order from here as price comes down toward them, and they add it to the other side. And then the next order, if price continues on down, it pulls and adds to the other side. So basically, they're queuing algos, stacking algos. So like this guy just stayed in the market here at 990. Okay, so they are getting filled, and you'll see this is actually a good segue into the TraderMap Pro tool, to show you, like, you can filter with the TraderMap Pro add-on in here to look for very specific liquidity that stays or doesn't, or has a specific amount of orders, etc. Within here. And we've got some new algos coming out for this as well. Okay, so here we got NASDAQ, and then let's add filter. Okay, so we can change for, like, you can see that there's size. There's a lot of people are using the order size filter. There's also a percentage filter here. Let's actually show that one in here. I like this one. So orders above 65 here. All right, well, that's going to get rid of almost everything in here, so that's not going to work. Or 20%, I'm sorry. So even before we do that, actually, let's configure this, and let's look at our COB column in terms of percentage. Right, so, and let's look for, yeah, we really want to look at a lower percentage then. Let's play it. Let's see. So this will open up a new symbol. Here. And it's loading it now. Yeah, so it's just showing the high liquidity down here. Very, very high liquidity. All right, so that's not helping us too much. Well, maybe it is helping us. You can see, I mean, this is how these players, a lot of these players, you can see that they pulled in here. Let me show you this. Larger players in here pulled their liquidity from way up here at 15,250, dropped it down here, got filled a little bit, and then pulled it away. And the same here. And you can see them here and here on the buy side. So this is, who has 250 orders, or looks like maybe 70. this example here. Yeah, 70 contracts in the market here. And we know that it's got to be the same player, because the moment they pull, they add it up here, right? So we identified a very specific player in this market, and this is what their algo is doing. And this is really amazing stuff, right? And they can average their position over time, get filled a little bit, take a little bit of profit, average into the position, look for the a drop and or whatever it is that they're looking for, and then take some profit, and do it all day long. Okay, so this is another answers another question in here, Tom, that starting to understand this larger player behavior in here by filtering for very specific liquidity. Okay, we're going to go over more and more about this Trader Map Pro. A lot of people are using it, like I said, and I think it's an amazing tool that we can filter for liquidity like this. No one else is doing something like this that I've seen, and it can offer a lot of insight. We can filter a lot more than just this. So if we come back up here to our market pulse, Trader Map Pro, pause it. Let's lower this here, or I'm sorry, raise it here. Let's try that one. Now we're going to see, something very different in here. But very similar behavior. See how we're talking about this player in here, this algo in here, and then you can see the behavior, and then they stay in the market here, stay in the market here. Okay, this shows the example really well. They stayed in the market here, so they're kind of averaging into their position over time in here, and that's what it's doing. All right, so let's move on. Any more questions? Or I'm kind of curious and take a look at Crude in here, since we've heard of all the volatility in here. Wow, yeah, look at this. This is beautiful down here. Look at that wall of liquidity in here. Now let's add a little more data in here on this. And then filled up here in these areas as well. Okay, just a huge wall of liquidity that came in, support underneath that move to the upside, some back and forth, clearly getting filled in here and clearly absorbed, and then move back up, okay, above the range. Okay, and it's still accepting above the range here so far. So it's still bullish until we see something different here. All right, how's our S&P doing? How's our stops and icebergs doing? Close this, I think. All right. All right, let's take a look at our bigger picture here. So we went through those two scenarios at 10 o'clock. And we drew up two scenarios here. One was that this cluster in here, we bounced off of the kind of point of control at that time. There's liquidity here, and then we see the buyers. We were looking for the move up to either here or here. It came up a little higher than here. Then it was our 34 is what we had said, right? I believe. Yeah, and came up into the 34-ish area here, maybe 35, and then it's pulled away. Right, so the pullback was, or this strong move by the sellers. Okay, now we have again some divergence in here on the volume side. Look at the bars down here, and look at the size of the dots. Okay, so lots of selling, pretty good buying, not bad, but just not as much as the selling move in here. Okay, so we see the move back up into here, and we see the sellers come in again. Okay, then we can look for the move and below this swing here, and we should get a stop run, right? That's the scenario we covered, and we covered a lot of other things in the meantime, and then we come back and revisit. Well, here's our stop run. Okay, here's our move below the swing here at 43.20, and here's our stop run, and that's what we would look for. All right, so now the question is, after that stop run below here, are we going to get is it going to come back up into this 22 area and then fail and then continue on lower? So it is does it accept lower is the question. Now, in terms of it accepting lower, it looks pretty good to me, and here's why. Okay, so we have a lot of sellers here, okay, that we noticed early, and then look at the sellers in here. Okay, so looking pretty good. Now they've broken the swing here, and we look for the pullback in here. Again, low volume pullback, which is good. This is a good thing. And then now let's take a look here. Let me clear these for a moment. And we're looking for an order flow setup in here for the continuation lower. Okay, now, so what we're looking for is up in here, exhaustion. We don't really see it, and we're looking for this liquidity up here, the supply to come down lower. And let's see if we get it here. We don't see that really, not yet. Here it is. Here's a little bit right there. All right, so now we're looking for sellers to come in and hit the bid into 17 and lower. Okay, the swing is down here around 16 and a quarter. And that's just one of the scenarios here. And now we have some buyers in here right now, buying at the bottom of this little range in here. All right, they're able to lift the market. All right, so we got another swing up to this little area right here. And again, maybe we'll get buyers. Maybe we'll come up into 21 or 22 and 3/4 here. We're still open and looking for these two scenarios here. One would be the buyers who take it up to the top of the ranges in here. The other is the sellers breaking not only the trend line, but the swing here, and then the continuation move by the strength of these sellers in here. Right? And it's not ready yet. It's not ready to do that yet. Okay, so let's sit here and watch and wait here to see what unfolds. Any questions on this? We're covering a lot of stuff, and it's kind of been mellow day though. All right, let's take a look for exhaustion, absorption up in this area, up in here, top of the range. I don't really see either. I see some buying up in here, and again buying up in here. So yeah, I don't see high liquidity up here. I don't see exhaustion up here. So we don't have either really. And now we're starting to see a skew in the order book here. Still a little too high. I want to see it down lower. We found some sellers kind of pull away from that area. Adjust this trend line. That's right. All right, so now here's our exhaustion here, right? Here's our exhaustion. Okay, now I don't have the liquidity I'm looking for, but what I'm looking for in this setup now is sellers here. Okay, I would love to see more liquidity here. I'm looking for our sellers here. And then we're looking for the drop through this area on down to our 17 liquidity down here. Right, so the market traded up here and it didn't find many buyers. Now that's just one element though, right? It's only one. Okay, we can check that box though. We got our exhaustion. Did we get our sellers here? A little bit. Okay, that's another box to check. The third box in here is about the liquidity. And we're not really getting much of anything in here from the order book. Okay, I want to see a reaction to more supply here. Repel buyers and find sellers. And I would love to see these sellers maybe in some of these areas down in here, 18 to 50 or so, pull that liquidity. And we're not getting that either. Right, so then this negates the setup. Okay, now that should be a stop run back up above. It is. You can see it here. Right, so people that sold in here based off of that, looking for that scenario, are getting stopped out. Okay, we're not, because we're not looking for that as a setup. Okay, we can still look for that scenario to unfold here. Looking for this after the stop run here, looking for the sellers to retest this 22 area and then see if they can power through that area to the downside. Slow down. I wanted to also float another idea with the I know it's not quite the same because you're looking at Wyckoff, and then in Wyckoff you're talking about the you're talking about accumulation and distribution. What I wanted to go through was understanding the same kind of principles in here in a diagonal, okay, in a trend, which I know is markup and markdown according to Wyckoff, but the same kind of principles for that spring setup, or basically either stop runs, absorption, or exhaustion at the top ends or breaks of those top ends to follow through. So let's just look at kind of like a price channel in here. Okay, so here and in here. Okay, so do we see a break of it? Yeah, I mean, we could be a little more you know, you can say that maybe this is the potential spring, right? Look for the heavy selling over here now. So now here we would look for the trap or our stop run and exhaustion. And we do have a stop run up into here. Okay, so we do have that. And then we do have a nice trap here if we can see our sellers now come in. Okay, now I'm not trying to convolute, and that's probably what I'm doing. So I'm not trying to make your specific setup. It's very specific. I'm just going through these elements in here in a diagonal trending type of market. The same concepts at the top edge or bottom edge here is what we're talking about. Of a stop run, break of it, trap volume, move back in, and then other side of the range or other side of the trend or price channel. Okay, understanding again absorption, which it did absorb up here after a stop run. Okay, sellers in control in here. So we have a lot of different pieces now. And the order book is, we didn't really have that but we do see the aggressors coming in, and we were looking for those aggressors, especially down around this, we said around 22. Well, here's our move. Okay, so now the bottom of the range in here, and this would be the first area to consider maybe taking some profit, or maybe a little bit lower here, but this was the first swing, okay, to look for. Okay, and I like to front run those a little bit and look for taking in front of the those areas. Can you filter for bigger players on the ES2? Absolutely. The Trader Map Pro, really fantastic tool. These order book filters, though, they only work with MBO data. Okay, so that's market by order data, not market by price, and only the only the CME futures is what offers that at the moment. Okay, let me show you where you can get it if you're interested. If you go to bookmap.com, and then you click on the More button here, and you go to our marketplace here, MBO bundles here. Okay, click on this. Okay, so once you're there, then you'll see this is what you get: the MBO bundle, and it includes Trader Map Pro. Right, so it's 134 a month. These are the indicators that you get. Okay, the stops and icebergs subchart, on chart, Liquidity Tracker Pro, and then Trader Map Pro. Okay, so you get 4. Now we added this on to give more value to this MBO bundle and kept the same price. Okay, so we're continuing to add more and more value to it, and it's not just Trader Map Pro. It's not just one product in there. There's several algos in there within Trader Map Pro for filtering, which is great. Okay, here we go. So looking for these sellers in one more. Let me see if we have anything looking good in here. Not really. Not really. I mean, the order book looks pretty good, right? We finally have something on the order book on our side. That looks pretty nice. Okay, we don't have the aggressors now, really. And what about this top edge up into here? Yeah, there's some buying up in here. I do like the market structure here. It made a higher or a lower high here and a lower low in here, at least so far. So I would be looking for sellers to hit down here into a 19.5, and then maybe we can get our break now as well. See how the trend has changed here, right? Or at least it is going potentially sideways. We got a lower high, and now we have an equal low. Okay, so I'm still rooting for these sellers to hit it into, yeah, basically our 18 or 17 level now. In this scenario earlier, what we covered. And let's see it, sellers hit it. I'd still love to see this order book. We just don't have it now. It was looking pretty good here, but we're not seeing too much right now. See how it's dark in here, and we can see, you'll see the buyers rip it right back up into these areas a lot of the time. Steven, Trader Map Pro allows you to, yeah, thanks, Alois. Yeah, he put the link in there. It allows you to filter your heat map, okay, by orders. So, you know, the market by order data from the CME allows you to do many things. See how the buyers came back in and ripped this higher. This is why we look for all pieces in here, and if we're going to get that continuation move to the downside. The Trader Map Pro. So what you can do is you can filter for actual order size, and that's pretty amazing. So look at our COB column here. This is complete, liquidity. It's the aggregate of all the liquidity at these price levels, at each price level. Okay, 107, 101, 88, 103. But how many orders are in here? Right, so this is the total volume of orders or liquidity in here. Okay, so this is not transacted volume. It's just the how many orders or how much liquidity is here. Okay, but you can also, we don't have it in the order book in here yet. We don't have a filter in it. We've instead found that we can show stops and icebergs, and we can also show and filter the heat map, okay, based on orders. So what we were looking at earlier here, okay, in this example of Trader Map Pro, you can see it made a new symbol, Trader Map Pro, and then let's take a look at it. Is filtering for a percentage of the in the order book, and it's about 12 orders here. Okay, so 12 or higher, which is about 62% of the order book here. This one is by percentage. Okay, that's the algo that is working here. Okay, and look at the job that it's doing. Anything that is above, here's 13 right there, or here we can see it here, right? There's 13 orders there. Okay, so it's 12 or above. Here's 12 right here. Okay, anything that's lower than 12 do not show. Right, so one order for size 12, and we're filtering for it. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool, Stephen. I think it's amazing. And to understand this behavior in here, what's actually happening, I mean, this is what players are doing. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Maybe over in YouTube. There was a question from a trader earlier today about the delta columns in here. Didn't matter, and a few others have really had some really great example. Nice work using the delta column in here, and I have it here displayed. Let me actually remove it or hide it, and then we'll add it again. So in fact, let's just add all of them, all the volume columns in here. Okay, so right now I need to have one column. That's just Bookmap requires it. We have the COB column, our current order book. If I right click in here and I insert a new column, it basically will duplicate and pop it out to the right, the same column. Okay, but then I can right click in here and I have all the different options of what columns I want to choose. And in this case, we'll choose volume column. Okay, now it says CVP, which stands for chart range volume profile, and that is showing me the column here, and the volume within this specific price level is showing buyers and sellers total volume here. Okay, and you can see the distinction between the two. Sellers are red, and green is our buyers. Okay, transactions. These are transacted orders in here per price level. This is volume profile. Now what we can do though is we have some other selections in here. So right click in here, and you can see it's on chart range volume profile right now, or chart range accumulated. We can also look at session accumulated. Now it's showing me a volume profile of all of the transactions that I have accumulated since when I started Bookmap. All right, so this is a much bigger volume column, of course. If I go to the chart range, it only shows for my chart range, what's viewable right now. So as soon as some of this data goes out of the chart range, you'll see this column change. Okay, so watch all of this volume in here. You'll see it go down. Right. So there you go. Anyway, now in the chart range volume profile or even session, we can insert a new column, right? If you want to duplicate it, just insert a new one. It duplicates it, and then right click in here. We can look at a session and a chart range volume profile. Now, if I right click in here again and we go to configure, I have many different configurations in here to take a look at. I can split out the data. I have, since we have it, buyers versus sellers in here. You can inverse the split. You can look at it in different ways. You can look at bars, numbers, bars only, etc. But I want to show you this though, the delta column. So instead of buy plus sell right now that it's showing, or buyers and sellers split out, this is going to show buyers minus sellers. Okay, so it's only going to be on each price level. It's going to be either red or it's going to be green. It has to be. It's buy minus sell or nothing. So it can be nothing if they're equal. Okay, so and that's it. That's all it's showing. Now, what's interesting about this is we can really identify in some of these ranges in here. Look who took control. Remember how we've talked about taking control of the market? Well, buyers took control down here. And look at the delta column in here for this chart range. Okay, this entire chart range in here. This is where buyers moved it. Well, clearly you can see that here. So they remain in control. So all sorts of things can be worked out from understanding this information. Okay, we can look for, what if we come back down below here? Okay, well, then this would be a lot of buying that maybe didn't take their profit. So maybe they would become sellers down below here. And that would be the speculation on that. Okay, so you can really identify some of these areas in here. Now, again, look at this up here. See this cluster of buying right now? At the top of a range or a trend. Okay, watch how sellers will come in and move it back down to where maybe they can take control. And now see all this buying? They're still in control of this move here. They'd have to get down to here, and which is the swing, to try to maybe move it away to get a stop run, or have these traders trade down here and be sellers down here. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here, and looking at the and one of the use case scenarios. See, look at this here. Watch these. I'm looking for a little trap right now because I know these guys are on the hook. And I see sellers here too. Okay, now do we find more buying interest in taking this higher? We might. And if that does happen, what does that mean for these sellers? Well, then they're the ones that are trapped, and then we get the move to the upside. Okay, but this cluster at the end of the auction doesn't look good. Okay, at a higher high. I mean, they can feel the squeeze. Okay, now if they don't feel the squeeze and they're still in it, they still have control. Right? And we can look at a scenario of coming back up here and then breaking out of that area and going higher. And then that's where the other scenario here that these guys selling here are going to have to cover. Right? That's why we want to really understand our stop runs in certain areas. That gives additional insight. Right? So, and look at here, this guy's pulling up here at 20, 28. Did we get a big stop run? No, we didn't. So the scenario is wide open here for buyers to rip it higher up into 30, 31. And let's see them do it. They should be able to do it. They're still in it. A lot of buying. Another stop run here, though. Good morning, Deborah. So that is where your confusion lies. Trusting a level for a long position, then a stop run happens. Well, okay, so how to kind of put this, like, I think identifying players in, that remain in control of the move might be helpful, Deborah. And then understanding where they're going to be, trading to get out of the move. And that would be your stop runs. Okay, so here's our move. And, we didn't have the order book here entirely. This is good that they pulled here. That was nice. We didn't have too much on the bid here. But we had two key elements in here. We identified the potential stop or the potential traders that are going to have to cover with the trap volume, and who remains kind of in control in these moves. And we're looking for maybe this little cluster in here, right? That's what we're looking for originally, for them to get stopped out and move back down into some of these lower areas here. Well, we didn't get the move. We got the opposite, and then we know now that if they can start to feel the pain in here, these sellers, we can look for that move higher up into here. Okay, so we got our move up into 30, not 31 at least yet. So Deborah, just remember one thing about stop runs, and because a lot of traders initially think that because there's a stop run, it's going to move the opposite way, and that's just not true. It may be a stop run and it still accepts lower or higher, depending on if it's a stop run to the downside. It still may accept lower. Stop run doesn't matter in that sense. What matters is understanding that people got stopped out, and then what happens after that. That's what matters. Does it accept lower? Or in this case, does it accept higher? Right? And do we still find more buyers, regardless if it's stop run or not? Okay, and then we were covering this in here. Now this is getting interesting up here. Yeah, right into this area here. So whereas I was looking for earlier, this move here, let me just clear the drawings for a second. The move, remember we talked about this when the webinar started at 10, and we saw the selling coming in, bouncing off of the point of control or like high volume node in here, and then we went through a couple different scenarios that we get this move up, retest back down, and then go down below. Well, the retest did happen. It happened up here around 34, and we went through that scenario, and then we finally got the move lower. Now this is where I'm looking for the continuation lower in this area here, and we didn't get that. We got the move down below, and then that's it basically. It came back up above, and it's been accepting higher. Okay, so we did get the move down here. Now we would assume then that this would be a stop run as well, and it is. It's a big one, the biggest for the day so far. Okay, but in this case here, stop run below the swing, and then the buyers came back in. Okay, now we have a lot of factors though. Look at this higher time frame picture here. We've got liquidity here, here, and here on the offer, getting filled, buyers taking it on. We're up at a higher time frame, kind of. If we look at the at least the market structure here, yeah, which is actually breaking right now, interestingly enough. And we have this swing up here. All right, well, let's see then. Then I'm looking for since we're at the tops of these ranges in here, I'm going to start to look for exhaustion by the buy side. We're not getting that. Okay, I still see buyers up in here. I'm looking for absorption here, which we already have. Okay, now I'm looking for a lack of buying up here. Okay, and I look at the order book and the buyers in here. There's a little exhaustion there. But I don't see any sellers coming in yet. Okay, none. Right, so if we're at the tops of these areas in here, we got to have those pieces to look for a move back into the range. So this is still continuing to break out. Deborah, we will have pretty soon, I promise we'll have some videos here that should help. Okay, what to look for in a setup. we go over it again and again, but I think this will be a little easier for you. So basically, like Deborah, we had talked about this. Again, just keeping it really simple and looking for just let's clear our drawings. Market structure first, right? Market structure is so important, and again, it's on all time frames. Our course on market mechanics talks about the very basic market mechanics and understanding market structure in just like a couple of ticks, okay, which really matters. And we take that same concept and idea, and then when we zoom out, we look for the same things. I look for the same things on a monthly chart as I do like on a second chart, 30-second chart or something. Okay, so up here, look at up in here, market structure. Let's take a look here. So we got a kind of a breakout of the channel here. Okay, here's a retest back up here. Okay, and I'm looking at the volume up in here. This is what I want to look at up here. I want to look at volume and liquidity. Our market structure is kind of strong. It broke this, and now I'm looking for a lack of buying or absorption, or different scenarios in here to look for, or maybe we see some buying up in here, and then it pulls away quickly back down here, and then we can look for a move back down to about here, right? Kind of top of the other structure in here, which matches pretty well. It's around 31 or so in our trend line. Okay, so a few different scenarios to look for, or maybe goes sideways or goes a little higher, and then maybe it's 32 in the swing here that starts to match up with the trend line. We don't know that. Okay, but market structure wise, this is what we're looking for. Okay, within the structure, now we want to look at the order flow. Okay, so what does the heat map show us? Well, here, high liquidity up at 35. Okay, did it transact? Let's turn on the volume dots. Okay, some of it did, some of it didn't. They're buying under here as well, so still looks like we're still finding some buyers here. Okay, so now the buyers can take it up into 36. Okay, in concept in here, we want to watch this one really carefully in here. Is it going to, this move down below here and this selling in here, first off, it wasn't a stop run. Okay, this is new selling coming in. Okay, now we're going to get our answer. Now, high liquidity here at 35. Okay, high liquidity is still, it's up at a higher level in here too. Okay, so we're reading again this top level up in here, trying to understand the order flow. So we know there's more supply. Again, more supply, some sellers, and some buyers. All right, so we're, you know, it's the European close or London close right now, and we're not getting too much insight at the moment. Actually, I like this. We had the order book in here starting to bid up, and we came back up here. We just didn't get any buyers up here. Now we're getting them, and they're pulling here. So buyers can still take this higher. $36, $38, $36, $37, $38. Okay, but watching it carefully here. Do you really want to buy at these higher levels? And until if we see something really good, then we would. I'm not really seeing it yet. Nice little stop run up into 36. All right, sellers, let's see if they can pull away here. Our selling has to be right around here, 34.5. There they are. Okay, now sellers can drop this now to our 32 area. And they're not. Still buying up in these areas here. So it's still, yeah, it's, you know, what looked to be kind of clear in here is not as clear. Now, this liquidity came in and back up here. Now, if we see the sellers take them on at 34.5, I like it, and I'd love to see these guys pull here, and then looking for the move back down to about 32. Okay, there they go. So sellers did move it. All right, now let's see. Looking for continuation on the sell side here. Okay, down below our swings and our 32 area here. Okay, well, we got to the bottom of the channel. Still would like to see it go further into that 32. I like the swing down here. 31 looks even better. This is where it broke out from, and there's liquidity down there. All right, so I would be stopped out at break even at that. And I just look for the next. I mean, it really wasn't all that great. I'm just going through an example, Deborah, to how to reduce risk in here. You know, if you're starting to see something like the order flow move here should work. That's why we look for it to move, you know, immediately. It should work out. And if it doesn't, then something's wrong. So reduce the risk. Okay, so what does that mean? That means you're probably going to have a lot of break evens, okay, or small winners, small losers. That's fine. And then look for holding to get some bigger winners. And I would really recommend, like, don't try to knock it out of the park here. Just try to build confidence when you see something and you're looking for it to move in a certain way because of the factors that you identified in the order flow. Okay, and then it should work out. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's the edge we're trying to cover and go over by understanding the order flow. And then if we get that, then we should get the move that we're looking for. Okay? And just reduce risk if it doesn't unfold. I mean, the order flow can change and shift, and that's fine. Okay, here we go again. Now, this looks pretty good too. I like this. Up in here, look, it made a lower high here. Look at the buying up here, right? Very, very little. And we're starting to get sellers here. Right? So now, if we get a retest back down here and I see a big red dot, I'm looking for the break. Now, the other thing that I'm looking for is that, that order book to help us on, and I saw just a little bit here. See how they're helping right here? Okay, I want to see them pull down here as well. That would be the best. Okay, now I'm looking for those red dots here to carry this through on down into this liquidity down here. Okay, so here's our exhaustion up here. And now we're looking for the retest back down into some of these 32, 31 level. Caleb, you're looking at your advancers, decliners. Okay, yep. Market internals there. Another thing to look for, like Deborah, is like when we identify these factors in the order flow, we're looking for the more likely the move to unfold, right? What was I going to say? Just taking these winners in here will build the confidence. Okay, when they start to unfold. And now I know you're mostly in demo, I believe, or in simulation, which is fine. Okay, but now go back and find these same examples many times over. Okay, so what factors are you looking for up here? Okay, well, we got our exhaustion and a lower high. We have high liquidity up in these areas here, and we had this selling cluster down in here. Okay, so it is unfolding. Okay. Another factor in here, this is what I was going to mention. Another factor in here is time. Time is part of the equation. I shouldn't use equation. Is a part of the. It's one of the elements. It takes some time for these things to work out. And in this case, you can see the back and forth in here. This is exactly what Wyckoff talks about in terms of accumulation and distribution. All right, let me jump over to Discord here. Sorry, guys, I didn't pay attention in here. Fantastic. Thank you, Slowdown. So, guys, you might want to jump over here into the discussion, all markets, Bruce here. This is where you can see I'm presenting here, and the people in the webinar here. In Discord, you might want to jump over and partake in the discussion. This is where you can see a lot of the discussion going on here. Slow down, stand. I mean, really great stuff in here. Here's Stan's, take on the order flow and what he's looking for in here, marking these things up, and his positioning as well. He bought in here, as you can see, etc. Now, what Slowdown has done is, he's got some great images in here that I showed earlier up here, for example, and then he just put in this list here, which is really nice. Order flow clues. Yeah, to kind of have this as a checklist in here. Or I'll speak to you more about this. This is right. It's really funny that you mentioned this, Slowdown. So I'll have to discuss with you more about this. This is going to be part of the education that we have as a checklist. But to look for these things and really understand it in here, looking for the spread, the move, or the speed of the move, the slope of the trend. Okay, that gives a lot of insight. Now we're looking for a lot of volume on that move as well. Understand the rotations, counter rotations. You can look at ATR, etc. Start to understand some of these things. This is what will lead you, when you start to answer these questions, lead you to a more probable outcome, because you understand the behavior in here by the players, and that's what it's all about. You can start to understand that. Okay, so we do have that move into 32 at this swing here. This took a while to play out. Okay, this was looking pretty good up here. Now it could have reversed and it could have gone higher. We would look for what the order. Look at the clues here in the order flow to give us that insight. So now in hindsight, this is much easier, right? Well, here's our high liquidity on the offer at this lower level. And then where are our buyers in here? Not as many green dots in here. We see a lot more selling here, in here, and then here in the move lower. Okay. All right. So anyway, we'll go over it more and more, again and again. Yeah, thank you, Slowdown, for putting that list together. Really, really nice. And I'll reach out to you soon, very soon. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll wrap it up here, and we'll call it a day. We'll come back tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. You might want to partake in the discussions over in Discord if you like. Like I said, some really good imagery in there that explains what we're looking at, and other traders and what exactly they're looking at. That can be very, very helpful. Right? The Discord channel is free and open to all if you haven't come over already. All right, thanks everybody for coming, and we will catch up with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. East Coast time. Thank you.